back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, so I'm here today to review two books for you, both of which are adult science fiction books, and they are Radiance by Catherine M. Valenti and Planetfall by Emma Newman. Both of them are standalones, however Planetfall does have a companion novel which is called After Atlas, which I've not read yet, but I'm very excited to do so. So let's start off with Radiance. Radiance is a book that I have been meaning to get to for a long time since it came out because I thought I would probably like it. It's written by Catherine M. Valenti, who has a beautiful writing style. However, it is a science fiction, historical science fiction shall we say. It's told in a really interesting way. It's not told in your normal novel format with chapters that just kind of follow a storyline. It's actually told in lots of different documents, in lots of different forms. So we get things like radio transcripts and film scripts and interviews with people and people telling their experience. We also get things like adverts and we get to see clips from the films. It's definitely film focused. If you are interested at all in the film industry, then you're probably going to like this book because although it is a science fiction and it deals a lot with being in space and travelling around and exploring and kind of the things you see in sci-fi more prominently, it really does deal a lot with film and the film industry and how film developed. Obviously it's not realistic in that it's set in space and it's kind of a world that has a lot more different capabilities than we do and also a lot less capabilities than we do, but I think the thing to take away from this is that if you like film, you're probably going to enjoy it. I don't want to give too much of the plot away, and to be honest I don't know how much I could give away because it is quite a sporadically jumpy plot. It jumps from place to place, from time period to time period, and from document to document, so you're never really sure what's real and what's made up or imagined. You're not entirely certain who is who for a little bit of the book, and then you finally start to realise, oh, this connects to that because of this and all of those things. It is slightly difficult to get into in that it does take its time for you to start connecting the dots, but I will say I thought it was brilliant when they did come together. And basically we're following the story of Severin Unk, who is a young woman who seems to have gone missing, and we're following her story through the eyes of various people who were connected to her in some way. So people who went on a mission where she disappeared with her, people like her father who raised her, people who have watched her films and enjoyed them, various different companies she has worked for. And we see all of these people kind of giving us their account of what they think happened, or going back in the past we see some home videos between her and her father, things that led up to her disappearance, and eventually all of these strings do come together and we do find out what happened to Severin. However, I think that the best thing for me was not finding out what happened, it was just the journey and figuring out as I went what was what and who was who, and it really was a very expansive solar system. This is set on various different planets throughout the solar system, so we go to Saturn, we go to Venus, we go to Pluto, I think there's a few others as well, and it was just really nice to sort of see a solar system being utilised in a book. I feel like a lot of the time we get told there's other planets and we don't actually visit them, but in this book you're seeing documentations and footage from all sorts of different planets, and it's really cool. I just enjoyed the journey with this one. I think you have to go into it hoping that you'll understand and just dive straight in, because if you're trying to constantly figure out how things fit together, you're never going to get anywhere, but things do come together. And I actually did this as a buddy read with James from James Chatham. I'll link his channel down below, and it was really great to be able to talk to him about what I thought was coming and like bounce some of our theories off of each other, because there's a lot of different directions she could have gone with this, and the way that she chose to go in the end, if you've read it you'll know what I mean, was really surprising and really kind of interesting. I liked what she did a lot, so I definitely would recommend this. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars overall. It was certainly a really enjoyable read and certainly a quick one. Considering the size of it, it is actually very fast to get through, probably because of the format it's told in, and I would certainly recommend it. So do let me know if you've read this, what you thought of it. The other one I have to talk to you about is Planetfall by Emma Newman. This is a really great book. I just found myself really enjoying this one because it deals with a character called Wren, and she and various other people that she knows, a colony, have been sent up into space to inhabit a new planet. They've left Earth behind. They don't really think anyone is going to be surviving there. They don't really have contact with Earth, but they all came from there originally, so they do know what Earth is like. And then they go to this new place, they set up this new colony, and they're kind of living there quite happily. Everyone's got their own spaces, they're doing their own things to start the colony off, and it's all going fairly well, although there are underlying problems, as we find out later on. And then one day a man turns up on their planet out of the blue, and they are like, where did he come from? He just turns up. And so they're a little bit confused about who this man is, what he might want, where he came from, and they're kind of unsure about what to do about him, and they don't really get much about where he's from. So they're all a little suspicious, and the whole community and colony kind of gets together to try and figure out what they want to do. We follow Wren, who is a very intelligent young woman. She is able to do a lot of computer coding. She is basically kind of a technician character, and she helps out a lot around the colony with anything that gets broken. But she also definitely has a mental health problems though. She suffers with anxiety quite a lot, and she also suffers with hoarding. Both of those are very present themes in the book, and what I like about Emma Newman's writing is that she feels very genuine and very honest when she writes her characters, and Wren in particular was a raw character. Some of the things she goes through, she deals with, she panics over, she gets anxiety about, are very, very common to people in our world. Like, people would easily go through the same sorts of anxieties. It's very relatable, even if you don't have a mental health condition yourself. It's very relatable. You can feel for these characters, you can understand their problems, and particularly the way that she describes Wren. There were some horrific scenes that I just thought were awful, not because she's being physically attacked, but because she's being mentally attacked by a person who, by the end of this book, I did not like at all. I'm not gonna lie, there was a character in here who, oh man, I just did not like him. He was horrible, and some of the things that he did were a complete invasion of privacy, a complete and utter horrible person, basically, and he did some really, really horrendous things that were just violations of privacy and rights to Wren. So be aware that that is in here, but also be aware that it is fantastically described. It feels very genuine, it feels very real, it feels like you are really with this character who is going through these things, and you are hoping that they can get through them and figure out what's going on. And the setup of the world is really cool. The colony itself has developed lots of interesting technology, which is nice to read about, but for me this book was completely sold and made on Wren as a character and the way that she dealt with situations, processed situations, and was able to give me an insight into what anxiety and hoarding really is like, because I myself have not suffered with either of these things in particular. I just found it absolutely eye-opening, and it's a science fiction book. It's definitely made up, it's definitely not real, but it has so many real elements to it that it's just utterly fantastic to read. So definitely go and check it out. I've heard fantastic things about the second one, the companion novel, which is After Atlas, so I'm really, really looking forward to picking that one up as well, and I will do that soon. But I don't really want my Emma Newman train to end, because I've been absolutely loving her series so far this year, and this one and After Atlas are kind of all I have left besides a novella that she's about to release. So yeah, really, really recommend this, and I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars overall, so check this out. That is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Leave me comments below if you've read either of those books, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.